When we want to change the defaults of an Ionic component, things can get a little bit tricky because Ionic components use the shadow DOM. When the item is using the shadow DOM, the CSS that we write cannot access this component. Because of that, most of Ionic components have custom CSS properties so that we can style them however we want. For example, I want to give custom styles to this component. And as you can see, it works. I'm passing the custom properties here, and the CSS is taking the changes. But sometimes we fall a little bit short on what we want to accomplish. For example, I want to give a visual indication to the user that this button is being clicked, that this button is active. For that, I do have a property, and it's color activated. Now, when I do it, the user will see that the color of the button changes. But what happens if with the color of the button I also want to change the color of the border? We don't have an actual property to do that. And since we don't have a property, then we have to look into, okay, what are the shadow parts that Ionic exposes of their components? In this case, they expose the native shadow part. This is the native HTML button that you can see here in the shadow DOM. So through the native part, we are going to be able to access this button. From this class custom button, I want to access the part native. And from here now, I can use the pseudo class active. So this will run whenever this button is active. And now I can say, I'm going to change the border color wherever this button is active. And you see that now we have a more accurate representation for the user when they click this button.